Well, I'm ready for a little more trailer maintenance. Let me show you what I got yesterday. I picked up a new jack to go in the A-frame part of the tongue there. Got an LED trailer light kit, even though the back lights on here look like they're just fine because my nephew replaced them not long ago. I decided to go with the whole kit. I like going with LEDs. Plus, I want to replace these side marker lights. So you can see those are gone. So I've got these now, which are also LED. Came with a bunch of wire. I don't know if I'll need that or not. And then I also got this wiring harness to wire up the, what is that, a 6-prong, 7-prong? I don't know what you consider that, if that's 6 or 7, but you know, the big one. And it has a junction box, which is kind of neat, so you can screw all your wires in, mount this up underneath the trailer. And planning ahead, I also got a metal license plate bracket because the lighting kit comes with a bracket, but it's plastic, and I know that's not going to last at all. You know, I know I'm going to back into something and break that off. So I went ahead and got the metal bracket. So what to do first? I think it's smart to start with the jack because I'm going to have to do some grinding and welding, and I don't want to have any wires around. So I figure get that in place, and that way if I'm replacing wires it won't matter if I burn any or cut any. So the old jack was welded in place here. I don't know why that bolt's there. Might have been for a ground wire or something, but that was fully welded in place. So I could put the new jack in the same place and weld it or bolt it in place. Looks like I'd really want to weld it. Could go underneath like that too, but then I'd have to be welding over my head. I don't want to do that. So I think what I want to do is grind off this old plate and then see if the new jack will fit in place. And then I'll take off this side jack, which is actually really nice. It almost seems more heavy duty than the new jack, but my feeling is that I want to lift the trailer from the center. And my thought is, if I have a load on here and I want to take the trailer off the truck, I don't want to have it putting pressure on one side only. So I think it's important to lift from the middle so you have even distribution of the weight, especially like if I were to drive something up. I don't know. That's just my thought. This would probably be fine, but I'm going to move it back over to there. Here's an old friend I haven't touched for probably 20 years because I haven't done a lot of heavy grinding, and I bought a DeWalt 20-volt grinder, but the DeWalt grinder goes through batteries very quickly, doesn't have a lot of power. This guy is really great. That's a Makita. I bought this probably about the same time I bought the trailer, so this is from the 80s, but I think that's the guy we want to use. Sweet. I'll just clean that surface up a little bit. Let's take a look. That's very nice. Yep, that looks good. These jacks do have, even though it's a triangle, there is a forward, and you can see the one angle is cut off, the others are pointy, so that one points to the front and lines up with that other hole. So there was a bolt in there. I don't know why, but I'm just going to weld along the edge here just like it was before, and I think that's going to be just beautiful. I'm just going to grind the paint off the two sides that I'm going to weld. Guess I should try and hold that. I am not a proficient welder, but I can make metal stick together. So that's kind of all we have to do today, because this is really a pretty non-critical part. So I feel pretty good about that. And I've got the gas for the MIG welder, which really makes it super nice. So this will be fun. Look at that. The plastic was never peeled off the gauge. Look at that. This one too. Ooh, that's nice. So this is the mix of argon and something else for MIG welding. I forget what the mix is exactly, but I've got that. Looks like I've got 100 pounds left in the tank. This is set to about 25. Well, it's about 25 right now, so that's what I found to be a good number. I think I looked that up somewhere too, so that'll work. I picked up this big screen welding helmet recently by Yes Welder. It was in my shopping cart for quite a while, and then it came up on sale, so I bought it. I've used it a couple times. It definitely is better than my old Harbor Freight helmet, which was just basically the size of your eyes. So it's nice to have the full shield here. It's got some settings on the side for cutting, grinding, or welding. So you put it on weld, and then there's some other settings for the sensitivity. I don't know. I guess I figured out how it works, but I do like it. I like having the full vision, and we'll see how it works out here in the daylight. That could be a problem, because if you have your setting too sensitive and you're in the sun can darken it. So it's a little tricky that way, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. This is the voltage for the welder, and this is the feed rate. So I'm going to leave that at 3, put that at 30, cross my fingers. I did throw a 5/16 bolt in here, because now I don't have to worry about holding this in place. One problem I'm having already is that inside the helmet I'm getting glare, and I can't really see what I'm doing because of the back glare. So that's kind of a problem for, I guess, when you're welding outside. If I was inside, it might not be much of a problem, but I'm gonna have to set myself up at a different angle or something. I think I need a higher voltage. Let's go 4 and 40. This was supposed to be the fun part, and really even the easy part. And first of all, I just tripped the breaker on that wire reel, which isn't, it trips out easily, so I need to run a different extension cord to a 20 amp outlet. And then I still can't see that the glare coming in from behind me is really problematic, because I thought I was doing really well. I wasn't even in the right spot. I mean, it was looking pretty good here. Here, I totally missed it. I wasn't even near it. Look at over here. Like, I'm like 3/4 of an inch away from where I'm supposed to be because I can't see. So this is a pain. I'm going to grind those off and start over again. I'll leave that one, but it's not penetrating the way it should either, so that's when I turn the heat up. Of course, I didn't hit record on that last pass, which was perfect. But I've changed. I just turned my back the other direction, so now the sun is not behind me. That helps tremendously. Well, there's a weld I'm not embarrassed by. So that one worked out really well. That's the one I didn't record. And then this one is kind of a double pass. I still haven't gotten the penetration in the tongue that I really would like to have. I know this is not going to go anywhere, but I'm going to weld around the front here too. So it's going to have plenty of hold from that. But that one looks pretty good. And I do enjoy doing this, even though I'm not great at it. It's very rewarding. I still can't see. So I just learned something on my last weld. This helmet has tint settings or shade settings, and I had it set on the darkest, thinking if you're welding, you know, you want to have as much protection as possible. But it was so dark that I could just see the spark. I really couldn't see anything around it, so I dialed it back. I actually went to the lightest setting just to see how that worked, and that was fine. And I could actually see the spark, but I could see around it as well. It wasn't overwhelmingly bright. So I think, once again, half of my problems are user error. Anyway, that's pretty nice. And still, you know, a little sloppy by welder standards for sure. It's not really straight, it's not even. But I'll tell you, if you have a flux core welder with the MIG option of using the gas, do yourself a favor and get solid core wire and get the gas, because it makes a really nice clean finish. It doesn't leave all that slag. You don't have to be chipping things off. You just brush it down, and I'm going to put some paint on that, but it really does a nice job. I look forward to doing some more welding in the future. I just never seem to have enough projects to do to practice with. So I think each time I do it, I get a little bit better. But, you know, as I said in the beginning, I can make two pieces of metal stick together. If I were doing heavier welding, I'd want a 220 welder, but I really like this Hobart 140. It runs on standard 120 current, and it does a great job for relatively light metal. What I like about it is that it's portable. You know, I can take it out of the shop with an extension cord and run it out here, where if I had a 220 volt welder, I guess I could get a long extension cord for that as well. But this just, I like how portable this is, and it's a fun little welder. I mean, it's kind of portable. This is a crummy little Harbor Freight welding cart, which I'm happy to have. it came with the welder. I bought the welder used, so I'm happy to have the cart, but it's pretty light duty. I should actually use the welder and weld the cart together because all the bolts are loose and moving around. But I bet you if I took the welder off and just welded all the parts together, I think the cart would be a lot better. Works well on concrete. Come on. All right. And now we will use the new jack to lift up the old jack, and we will grind off the old jack. So nice. I love you. I love you, Jack. Unfortunately, it looks like my nephew did a pretty good job welding this on here. You could say, why don't you leave it on? You might say, Ed, why don't you just leave it there and have a backup jack? Just roll it up, all the way up to the top. And then what's neat about this jack is that it rotates out of the way. So if I drive it up like that, so it's up and out of the way, there like that, and then rotate like that, well shoot, I don't even need to take it off. I'll just leave it there as a backup jack, right? Is that lazy? Is that lazy or is that brilliant? I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know. I may remove that jack at some point just for the aesthetics of it. Some people will say, why do you have two jacks? I don't know. You let me know if that was smart or not. But I'm going to get a little paint on here so this doesn't rust out. And first I'm going to knock off some of this, I guess, algae or whatever's growing there, because I got something I want to try out. So first let me hit this a little bit, and then I'll show you something. So I picked up this Eastwood rust encapsulator a while ago. I bought it with the intention of hitting the frame of the Jeep with it. But what it does is apparently it works with the rust to, I don't know, chemically change it. And I guess you paint over it, but I was just intrigued by it and wanted to try it. So I thought this will be a neat opportunity to try this. It's got some goop on the bottom. We'll mix that in. It's definitely oil-based by the smell of it. And I'm just going to use this foam brush to put it on because we're just, you know, this is not a showpiece. We just want to make it look kind of nice and keep it from getting any more rusty and ugly. Let's see what this does here. You can put this in a sprayer too, apparently. It definitely turns black immediately. So I think it is more than just putting a coat of paint on it. I think it's actually, like I said, I think it's reacting with the rust. We'll put it over the freshly ground metal. See what it does there. Well, if you ever used this stuff before, let me know any tips or tricks or what your experience has been with it. So far, I like it very much. Smells super potent, which makes me feel like it's really good. You know, when something smells like that, you think, oh, it must be working, must be doing something. I'm guessing that you don't even need to go very thick with this just to get a coating on there, because boy, it has good coverage. Foam brush might not be the best choice because it's a little hard to push it into the little pock marks. You know, if I had bristles, I think that might be better. But I like these foam brushes because you can just throw them away when you're done. I mean, you can throw anything away when you're done, really, right? I just don't feel bad throwing these away. So yeah, real thin coat, and looks like it dries either flat or maybe kind of a satin color or satin finish. Look at that. You can even get it on the chain. It'll be interesting to see how this weathers. And I have to read the directions because I don't know if this is a finished product or if you're supposed to paint it after this, if this is just like a prep. But man, it covers that beautifully. It's also hard to be precise with a foam brush. And there's a little more precision painting here than what I originally thought, but that's all right. That's okay. We're just coating it now to keep it from rusting. Got some runs there. I do have some pride in my work. I don't know if the rough texture of the rust is causing the foam brush to break down, or if this stuff is even having a chemical reaction with the foam. You know, like if you put foam in gasoline, it breaks down. So I wonder if there's something to this, because this foam brush is just about done with. All right, but that gives me an idea of what it'll do. Yep, that's pretty spent. Well, that is really neat. I've been looking for a reason to use this stuff. I can see that it puts a nice coating on. It's interesting that on the shiny metal, it didn't actually cover it very well. So this stuff is called Eastwood Rust Encapsulator. Matte black is the finish. And here's a little thing from the back. Eastwood Rust Encapsulator is a high-performance moisture-cured coating that encapsulates and stops rust from spreading. Rust Encapsulator Plus does not need to be top-coated except when exposed to direct sunlight, so this should be painted. Rust Encapsulator Plus can be top-coated with any paint. It can be applied over bare metal or surfaces that are rusty. It's not exactly what it said, I just read that wrong. Anyway, rusty surfaces. Roll on, brush on, spray on, it doesn't matter. So that's the stuff, and it's pretty neat. So I will put a link in the description if you're interested in checking this out, an Amazon affiliate link where I bought this from. Anyway, that's not what this was about today, but this turned out to be a neat little test to try this stuff. It is definitely sticky and messy, so make sure you wear gloves too. So, well, that project is done. The next project is going to be the lighting. And the lighting, the wiring, the brakes, all that good stuff. I'm hoping the brakes work. If they don't, we'll have to change those out too. In the future, repack the bearings. But for now, I just want to get everything wired up and test it out. So we'll do that another time because I'm going to have to lay on the ground underneath of this thing to work on the wiring. Had a lot of rain last night, and I don't feel like laying on the ground when it's all wet. So thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up, click that like button. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel on YouTube or followed on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, I invite you to follow along. And as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.